We're going to reconvene our open session. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'd like to ask our clerk, Trustee Inman, to report actions taken in closed session.
The governing board in closed session voted to issue a notice of rejection of claim pursuant to Government Code Section 913. Those who voted aye were Trustees Jamal, Rydell, Inman, Dack, Jay, Milchiker, and Prendergast. Those who voted nay were none. Those who abstained from voting were none.
Thank you for that report. I'd now like to ask Trustee Dack to lead us in the invocation, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Inman.
I think so. So I'll begin as our other trustees are coming on up. With a new year comes a new semester, new students, and new opportunities. I hope the faculty, staff, and student community take a moment in this new year to reflect on both their challenges and their successes in 2023, bringing that additional year of wisdom with them to make 2024 a year of positive growth. I would like to now pass the baton to Trustee Inman.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, excuse me. All right, any requests for public comments? No requests for public comments. Now we'll turn it over to board reports. I can't remember where I started last time, but I'll turn to my left since he led us in the invocation, Trustee Dack.
Not much to report in this new year, but I did get word of enrollment numbers recently, and I would like to congratulate the team at the district for their recent double-digit enrollment increases, apparently the highest in Orange County. So congratulations, team, on pumping those numbers up.
Thank you. Trustee Prendergast.
Okay. Just wanted to kind of segue from Trustee Dack's invocation on welcoming students to the new semester and faculty to the new semester. I know that's an exciting time, and you know I'm right there with you. I know exactly what you're going through, and it is there's all sorts of emotions that go along with it, and hopefully they're all positive ones.
Thank you for that. Trustee
Okay.
Inman.
I enjoyed both opening days at both of our colleges. It's always really neat to get back with colleagues and say hello and see how everybody is. And it's, there aren't that many professions that stop and go. It reminds me of when I was in a lot of plays. It ends and then you do it again. And it's just, it's a nice wind up and then a restart. So that was really fun. I've been doing some things in the community. One of the things I told you about in December was that I had put out a notice to a lot of friends and family and so forth for clothes for the new the clothing drive for the new IBC Center. And I said, well, if you don't want to, park and find the place and all that, just bring the clothes to my house. And they did. But luckily, my granddaughter was here visiting, and she helped me, and we got them all to the event. And the exciting thing about the event was that we didn't stay for the event. We just gave them our clothes. But we were talking, naturally. That's a surprise. We were talking, and all the people that I saw coming in were other students. And I thought that was pretty much the neatest thing I had seen for a long time. So they were supporting their fellow students. And then at a service club that I go to, Exchange Club, I got a couple of days ago, I got a big rave review for Young Frankenstein, when I've been inviting people to come to plays. And I never know how many people go, because I designate a play and some people go to that one and they also go the other 7 times. So this was really fun, and encouraging people to go again and come again, and I know they're going to. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Trustee Rydell.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Both presidents' opening sessions were very informative, and I appreciate the opportunity to use Zoom, so thank you, Dr. Hernandez. At IVC, the photos and the videos spoke louder than words. I felt like it made us more united. But the videos of the students and their disciplines, plus faculty and classified, well, it told the story. And no offense, Dr. Hernandez, but videos really do speak louder than words. So the guest speaker, I attended her lecture in the morning and in the afternoon, and I thought, oh, twice. But you know what? I learned more in the second time than I did the first time. So that was very rewarding. I also attended the presentation by our executive leaders regarding LGBTQ, and it was very informative and most genuine. I will be attending this Wednesday's presentation of Rising Scholars, a premier event at IVC this Wednesday. It starts at 11 a.m. at PAC. I will be attending this Wednesday's presentation at Rising Scholars. I hope all of you put that on your calendar. This is something new, and I look forward to seeing our scholars, and I like how it was presented in the advertisement. I also look forward to this semester where we are all more diligent and accepting of differences in color and of opinions. So thank you. I will present more on the foundation. We didn't have a meeting in the last few months, so the Saddleback Foundation, I'll be giving you more information at that time. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Trustee Melchiker.
Thank you. Well, I just thought I'd mention that since our last December board meeting, I attended the Saddleback College groundbreaking for the new Math and Science and Computer Building, the Saddleback College President's Open House, the District Services Holiday Party, the Emeritus Choir Concert at Saddleback College, the Legislative Task Force meeting, the Mars Rover meetings, the Saddleback College Foundation Holiday Retreat, IBC Cookie Mess, and Uncle Vanya, Anton Chekhov's timeless masterpiece at the IBC Student Theater. I have to thank Vice Chancellor Chris McDonald and Ryan Brook for their assistance to help me with navigating Professional Development Week. Both presidents' opening sessions featured Dr. Gina Ann Garcia, a Berkeley professor who gave the keynote speech, and IVC is becoming a Hispanic-serving institution, while Saddleback is already designated as one, and it was funded by the Saddleback's Hispanic-serving institution grant. And Dr. Garcia was interesting, and she has written several books and has a podcast called Que Pasa, HIS, dedicated to Hispanic-serving institutions, which is quite informative. I attended the One Book, One College. It was online meeting where they're featuring Temple Grandin's book, Visual Thinking, which celebrates neurodiversity. I attended Dr. Scott Farthing and Professor Steve Rosa, where they talked about creating a sense of belonging for LGBTQ students in our classrooms. And I thank our colleges for assisting students during finals week and welcoming them during spring semester, offering assistance and snacks, and providing basic needs centers for students, offering food, clothing, and more. And Saddleback College for offering over 1,000 new toys for students' children. And I want to give congrats to the IVC women's volleyball team and the IVC Models UN and Saddleback College for being named the National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense. And I also want to highlight the Rising Scholar premier event, which Trustee Rydell talked about, and it's at 11 to 2 in IVC PAC, and Professor Aaron Pollard is putting it on, so I'm sure it will be really special. Thanks.
Thank you for that. The 2 opening sessions were wonderful. Thank both of you, the 2 college presidents and the staff and faculty and everyone else who was involved. Well done. I just one anecdote. I was having lunch in Costa Mesa, I don't know, right before the New Year's, and our server waitress said to me, "Are you Trustee Jamal?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." So of course I was very happy that someone recognized me. But it turns out the reason why she recognized me is because she is a longtime friend of Trustee Dack. So my lesson from that, one, our students are everywhere. Everywhere. And two, someone's doing a good job educating his friends about the district. So good job, Trustee Dack.
Want to get those streaming numbers up to 15.
Great.
Yeah, so that was great. Trustee Hiddy.
Thank you. I apologize for my absence during last month's board meeting as I took some time to focus on my finals preparation, but I'm eager to get started with the spring semester. I wanted to shed some appreciation for the significant influx of available ZTC courses this past semester. I had the chance of meeting with some of my peers regarding the cost for books this semester, and I believe there was an overwhelming consensus that books have become extremely accessible on our campuses. I believe these changes are instrumental to our schools being able to increase equity on campus and make higher education as approachable as possible. I applaud both campuses and all of our professors for their efforts toward furthering this pattern, and I look forward to continuing conversations regarding the affordability of our classes. As in-person enrollment increases on both campuses, we can look forward to many more campus events at both Saddleback and IVC. Saddleback will be implementing a significant focus on civic engagement during the spring semester. Student government has been working alongside professors and staff to create events that encourage productive and informed political conversations, and we are hoping to make the voting process as approachable as possible so we can help students share their voices and take actions as elections approach. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now we'll turn it over to reports from the ASG, Associated Student Governments, and I think we have Mr. Christian Suazo from Saddleback College, who is here. I think you're the interim president, and will be here instead of Spring Momeni.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yes, my name is Christian Suazo. I'm the current chief of staff at Saddleback ASG, but if you are not aware, as many of y'all probably already are aware, that our ASG President Gloria Lee and ASG Vice President Spring Momeni have stepped down. We have a great ASG leadership team, and we will be allocating the responsibilities of those positions to attend all the meetings and events that they would. So I will be temporarily coming to this one, and going forward, we'll decide on who goes in the future, but I'm here just for today. We will be having an election in March for next year's board. We are excited for the spring semester and have a lot of things happening. Here are a few of them. We held an all ASG retreat last Friday to get all members of the organization engaged and going for the semester. We will be hosting a Pizza with the President event with President Stern on Wednesday at 12 in SSC 212, where students will be able to meet with President Stern and ask him questions. We are going to find out more this week, but ASG will be working with our foundation office to assist with the Saddleback College Foundation's Founders Giving Day on February 14th. And we are also excited to be going to Washington, D.C. in March with our ASIVC counterparts to work together to advocate on behalf of students in our district. And that is the end of my office report.
Thank you for that report and welcome. Let's now turn to Diego Victoria from IVC.
Good evening, everyone. So I just want to start off by saying that the president's opening speeches were amazing, and unfortunately I was not there for the Irvine Valley College one, but there were some student government members that attended, and I heard that it was amazing, especially the guest speaker, Dr. Gina Garcia, and I do think that it's a very important step for IVC to become a HSI serving institution, a great step forward for equity in the school. And we kicked off the week at IVC with different activities. The first one was with the resource fair to ensure that all returning and new students made sure or knew about all the resources available on campus. And we also had a very fun event called Starlight Soiree. So in our student activity center, we had a karaoke and we kind of decorated the room, which was really fun. And we are approaching the IVC Scholarship Foundation deadline, which is in February. But an initiative that ASIVC made last year was to partner with the Writing Center and English professors to support students on campus with their scholarship essays. And so next week will be now the second year where we will have a activity out in the quad or in the Writing Center where professors can help students. They can just drop by pretty much on a drop-in basis. And, you know, talking about the future, we're also very excited to go to DC with Saddlebacks. That's going to be very fun. We loved it last year, and I'm really looking forward to it. But also our spring elections are going to be coming soon. And so today our applications opened for the next student government group. And so every executive position is open, and the student trustee position is also now for a IVC student. And so it's going to be fun times, but I'm very excited to close out the semester and transfer off with a great experience with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, both of you. Just a quick question. Do you know what you're going to be asking? What are your priorities when you go to DC?
Yeah, so for now, it's still undecided. We're still going to talk about it amongst ourselves. But last year, we focused a lot on mental health and also different things such as homelessness and students that are DACA students. And so we're most likely going to do something very similar.
Okay.
We recently got our advocacy group together, so now that we have that formed, we will be talking with IVC about what the issues we'll be presenting at Washington, D.C.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, moving on to IVC Academic Senate, Rebecca Beck.
Good evening. It's good to see all of you. Also wanted to say thank you for those of you who were able to attend the different Flex Week activities at IVC. I also wanted to just give a big kudos to our colleagues and our administration and our staff for creating such an enriching week. We had workshops promoting language for respect and dignity for formerly incarcerated students. That was a wonderful workshop. We also had good workshops on communities of practice in the writing courses, physical science, English as a second language, and so forth. But I also wanted to highlight the technology workshops that we had, because we had two primary foci this time. I think OER, which is finding ways to have affordable text for our students, was a popular one, and also AI in writing research, AI in our work, everyday work, and AI in composition writing. So again, in aligning ourselves with Vision 2030, we are doing some of that work geared towards understanding and working with artificial intelligence in and out of the classroom. And lastly, I wanted to also let you know that our VP, David Kachatrian, came to our Academic Senate meeting and gave a wonderful overview of the student housing study session that you had back in November. And our colleagues, our faculty are very grateful that as a district, we are exploring options to assist our students for long-term and short-term homelessness and affordable housing in the future. Thank you again, and it's great to see you all.
Great to see you too. I just started using some AI in the writings that I do, and finding it somewhat helpful. So, Saddleback College Academic Senate, Margot Levitt.
So President Jamal, I want to know if you've been accused of plagiarizing when you use your...
Mostly grammar stuff I'm getting help on.
Yeah, so, okay. Happy New Year, everybody. I also would just like to briefly mention the very successful Professional Development Week that we recently concluded. And what I want to highlight is our third series of DEI-focused events. So in spring of 2023, we had an entire day on issues facing neurodiverse students. In fall 2023, we had a day on Latinx issues. And this spring, we tried something new. Rather than a full day of events, we had events spread out over the entire 4 days of PD Week, and this time we focused on LGBTQIA plus issues. So what's really important about these is these events bring together the entire college community, because faculty, administrators, and students all participated on a variety of panels. So it's wonderful to be able to hear the student experience, so we plan to continue to do that. And along that vein, I have to thank Heidi Ochoa. She is the current Academic Senate President-elect, who really is responsible for organizing each of these 3 series. And I also would like to thank Vice Chancellor Cindy Viscachil, Irvine Valley College President John Hernandez, Saddleback College President Dr. Elliott Stern, all of them are doctors, who participated with me on a panel on LGBTQIA plus issues facing leaders in higher education. So your presence was really, really welcomed. And I would like to end by thanking the Chancellor and members of the board who were able to attend some of our sessions during PD Week, and your presence was greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Now, turn it over to Melanie Hayeri from the Faculty Association.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a long report. I just want to welcome you all back and welcome back all our faculty who are working very hard, getting their classes up and going, working with their students to make them feel welcome and connected in the classrooms. Our enrollment is very good, and the faculty are working very hard to make sure that continues. And I just want to thank and acknowledge all the faculty and all their work. I know they spend time over their breaks preparing. I know they're working on campus, online, all different ways, and serving in all those committees. So that's what I wanted to start with. That's all for this month.
Thank you for that report. Now we'll turn to the IVC Classified Senate, and it's Ace.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Caguioa, I should say your last name, right?
What was that?
I want to make sure I pronounce your name correct. Ace Caguioa, right?
Kagiwa. Oh. I know. It's 7 letters, 5 of them are vowels, so it's pretty difficult. It's totally fine.
Kagiwa. My apologies. I should have it down by now.
I'll probably write it phonetically next time. But with Classified Senate at IVC, there's not much to report at the moment, but we are looking forward to the start of a new semester. In fact, there's a lot of upcoming events just within Classified Senate. We're already in the works of creating our next Lunch and Learn series this semester, primarily focusing on event planning. We'll also be having a Caring Campus Blood Drive on February 29th. And we're also looking forward to Classified Day, which Chantel will actually speak more about later on. We're also starting to plan our summer retreats for all of our IVC classified professionals and our joint summer retreat with the executive boards of both IVC and Saddleback. This last year, Saddleback hosted. This year, IVC will be hosting the executive boards of both classified senates. And we're also starting to prepare our delegates for the Classified Leadership Institute, CLI, which is hosted by our governing board, 4CS, or the California Community College Classified Senate, which is the governing board for all classified senates across California, and that will be in June. So we're going to be collaborating more with our counterparts from Saddleback. And lastly, we'll be determining our Classified Employee of the Year and our Caring Campus Ambassador, which both will be recognized at the IVC's Employee Recognition Ceremony in May. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Saddleback College Classified Senate, Chantel Gill.
Good evening, trustees. With the start of the new semester, I want to begin by thanking our classified professionals and all folks across campus for their support with welcoming students to our beautiful campus and supporting with welcome tents, where many employees volunteered their time to be in parking lots and various areas across the campus to support students navigating their way to classes. Such students who gave many thanks for these efforts include 400 adult education students, which is an area that I personally work in, that we welcomed to campus this semester who were previously taking classes off-site and are excited about the many opportunities to be found here at Saddleback College. With new change this semester, we are very excited about our beautiful new Gateway building. With many student support services moving to the new building soon, we will be supporting our fellow colleagues and hosting an upcoming tour for classified professionals at our next Senate meeting to continue to proactively support students. We are also currently planning our joint classified PD day, as Ace mentioned, with IVC, which will be held on March 19th in order to provide a meaningful professional development for all classified professionals. We are currently organizing an array of meaningful workshops to be hosted at the Lake Forest Community Center this year because we know that investing in our classified professional growth in turn supports our students and the services my colleagues provide. As a year of evolving growth, I want to thank all of you trustees for your continued support for our programs, classified professionals, and most importantly, our students. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Scott Green from CSCA.
Good evening, trustees. Happy 2024. In this new year, we're looking forward as we, CSCA had submitted our initial proposal, very much looking forward to actually negotiating with the district this coming year. One of the best things to do is to negotiate. This is my 5th time that I've been on the negotiating team. And to actually be able to negotiate, to come and find a common ground, to actually come together and have an agreement for a new collective bargaining agreement is always satisfactory. As much as I really enjoy being the CSA president, I'm in my 11th year now as CSA president. I really enjoy my regular job. Already, I know that there is plenty of energy from the students that have come back, eager to start in this new semester. I've had long conversations with both students and faculty for the success of what their assignments will be. We plan to be very busy this semester. But we want to really try and give the students that type of support, like I feel I had the support when I was a student. By the time I was in the 3rd grade, I actually learned to speak conversational French. By the time I was in the 5th grade, I knew the entire history of the royal Hawaiian family. And my teacher, to give us an incentive, threw us a luau. And that was when I was in the 5th grade. And so my first trip overseas was to France. My first trip to the Pacific was to the Hawaiian Islands, so I could learn the culture and really be involved. And that's the type of incentive that we need to give our students, and we think that we're heading in that right direction. And so I'm really looking forward to this semester to have that type of energy to give the incentive to our students.
Nice.
Thank you for that. Actually, I will be in France later this week for a couple days. All right, I don't think we have a representative from the POA. I don't think we have any requests for board reports.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Ace, when did you say the blood drive was? February 29th at IVC. Any idea when Saddleback will have their blood drive? I don't mind driving up there, but.
Unfortunately, I don't know when Saddleback will be having, but I think we also have another one planned later on in the semester, because I know there's a certain amount of weeks where we're not allowed to do more than like 2, I think every 6 weeks. I can't remember the timeline.
Alrighty.
But yeah.
All right, thank you for that. I'm going to call on audible, and we're going to take up an item that was scheduled for later in the agenda under presentations. So right now, we're going to move to 8.1 Economic Impact Study presentation. I think, Dr. Barnes, you're going to say something about this?
Yes, we have a couple of members with us. We have, we have Alex from Rancho, who leads our OCRC, and then we have a member from Lightcast, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but you will introduce yourself. So at the end of the day, the economic impact analysis was conducted, which basically measures how our institution is affecting the local economy in 3 areas, with regard to students and their future earnings, with regard to taxpayers, and with regard to society. We always say, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to make the world a better place. And so this economic impact study doesn't sound like, well, it's so exciting, but it's the way in which we're making our world a better place in those 3 areas. And so there's a lot more. And so they're going to just give us a briefing on what the outcome was of the economic impact analysis for our district.
Thank you, Dr. Barnes. I'm always worried about being introduced from Rancho because every district is a dog in the fight for me. So I represent all of the community college districts in Orange County, and it's member colleges through the Orange County Regional Consortium. The Governance Council, which is comprised of all of our chancellors and our college presidents, and they have the responsibility for making decisions on all of the investments that come through our regional consortium from the Strong Workforce program at the Chancellor's Office. And so the Governor's Council decided to commission this report, as Dr. Barnes mentioned. It really does give you a snapshot of how South Orange County Community College District and its colleges contribute to the regional domestic product in Orange County. And so with that said, I want to introduce my colleague Anna Brown from Lightcast. You may, it's formerly called MC, Economic Modeling Company. Anna?
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for welcoming me down here. I'm from northern Idaho, so I do welcome a change from the snow and the ice right now. Even though it's raining, it's still nice down here. So my name is Anna Brown. I am the Vice President of Education Consulting at Lightcast, who, as Alex mentioned, used to be EMSI or MZ. We have worked with you all in the past, and I will give a quick briefing on the results of the Economic Impact Study for South Orange County Community College District. A little bit, just really briefly, about Lightcast. So we've been working with higher education institutions for over 20 years. We have completed over 3,000 economic impact studies during that time. And we also have a variety of other tools, software tools that help students get onto their career path and also help with program alignment at colleges. And we've worked with several Aspen Prize finalists as well. So within the economic impact study, we actually looked at two different types of analyses. It's kind of misleading calling it economic impact study, but we call it, first there's the economic impact analysis, which this is what is a snapshot in time. It's taking a look at the new jobs and the new income being created in Orange County as a result of the colleges. And really what we're looking at here is just a conservative, defensible methodology to look at what would not have been in the county if not for the colleges. We also include an investment analysis, which is looking at the benefits and costs to students, taxpayers, and society as a whole, which I think that is going to speak really strongly, especially after I have heard all the opening comments here this evening. To set the stage, a little bit about Orange County. Earnings play a really large factor within our model, and so associate degree students, they earn almost $50,000. The gross regional product of Orange County is over $305 billion, and the county supports 2.3 million jobs. And a little bit about the district. So the year that we looked at here was fiscal year 2020-21, and during that fiscal year, the colleges served over 55,000 students and almost 10,000 non-credit students, employed over 2,800 employees who paid out to those employees $160.4 million in payroll, and then also received about $28.9 million in total tuition revenue, and around 15% of your students came from outside the county. The reason why I bring these numbers up is that these are some of the initial starting points within the analysis. And here's a sneak peek to the big picture numbers. The district added $1.9 billion in income to the county. This is important because this is dollars that are staying in the county economy. So again, we're taking a look at what is truly here because of the district. This represents 0.6% of the county's GRP and supported almost 20,500 jobs. Now, when we look at the investment analysis, we see that for every dollar that students invest, they will receive $4.30 back. Taxpayers will receive $1.80, and society will receive $11.90. I'll get into a little bit more of the methodology here in just a moment. So when we look at the economic impact analysis, we are looking at four main impacts. The first one is the operation spending impact, and this is really taking a look at how the colleges and the district are spending money, whether it's on faculty and staff and on the payroll, or whether it is on supplies and services, and how that is then resulting in additional spending throughout the county economy. So when we take a look at how the colleges and the district spent money during fiscal year 2020-21, we see that they added almost $200 million in income, which supported almost 3,000 jobs in the county. We also look at the construction spending impact. So this is any type of new capital types of projects or maintenance types of projects. And we see as a result of construction spending, the colleges in the district added $25.8 million, which supported almost 300 jobs in the county. The next impact we look at is what we call the student spending impact. And here it's important to note that we're not looking at the spending of all students. We're really looking at any students who relocated into the county to attend the colleges or were retained in the county because of the colleges. And again, we do this because we're really trying to look at what is here because of the colleges. And so these students, they came in or they stayed, they spent money on their housing, on food, and they added $125.1 million in income, which supported over 1,700 jobs. Now I'm getting to the fun one. This one is the alumni impact. And this is really looking at the human capital that the colleges are creating. So as a result of attending the colleges, students, they are able to go out and they're able to earn more. They're also they're contributing their skills to the workforce, which is helping their employers be more productive. And all of this continues to ripple throughout the county economy. So this is really the true story of the colleges as they are training the county workforce. So we take a look here at the students that the colleges have served over time, and then we estimate how many of them are still active in the county workforce. And we see that in fiscal year 2020-21, they added $1.5 billion in county income, which supported almost 15,500 jobs. When we add those four impacts, that's how we arrive at the $1.9 billion. So again, this is the added income truly because of the colleges in the district. Put another way, 1 out of 114 jobs in the county is supported by the colleges in the district. If we were to divide that out between the two colleges, about 66% of that is as a result of Saddleback and 34% from IVC. To contextualize it just a little bit more, that $1.9 billion, if you were to think about, the different industries within the county, we love to think about industries here at Lightcast. That means that it's equivalent to almost all the food and beverage stores within the county, or the amusement and theme parks or social assistants. Or when you think about the jobs, that's equivalent to almost all the hotel and motel workers or workers working within the medical equipment manufacturing industry. So that's really hopefully kind of helps contextualize the impact that the colleges have. We can also take a look at how the colleges are supporting the different industries. And so we see that healthcare and social assistance, for example, the colleges created around 1,400 jobs within that industry. So this is as a result of your students going into those industries as well as how the general ripple effects are supporting them. Now I'm going to move on to the investment analysis. And here it's a slightly different take, where here we're looking at the students who were served in fiscal year 2020-21. And we're looking at how, as a result of how they attended the colleges during that year, they're going to, again, be earning more. That's going to benefit their lifetime income. And so we project what that increased earnings will look like across their working life. And then we compare what those higher future earnings will be to what the students paid out. Now, this is in terms of tuition and fees, their supplies, and we also take into consideration opportunity costs. So as a result of attending the colleges, they may not be able to be in full employment, and so we want to take that into consideration. And so despite all of those costs, we see that the students will see that for every dollar that they pay to the colleges, they will receive $4.30 back, which is a really strong investment. For taxpayers, we look at something similar, because over here what we're looking at is what are the benefits to the state and local government. First, we start with what any of the future tax revenue that the state and local government will receive. Again, because students are earning more, there's just additional taxes that will be created within the state. We also take a look at government savings. So there's a lot of literature out there that is tying higher levels of education to reduced employment, reduced crime, reduced drug use, and all that has a savings on the government. And so when we look at those benefits, we see benefits of $567.6 million. We compare that to the funding that the colleges received, and we see a benefit cost ratio of $1.80. And then finally, from the social perspective, what we're looking at here, it's similar to the taxpayer, except for we're looking at society as a whole in California. So we're looking at how the state economic base has increased, tax revenue, private and social savings. And we see that as a result of the students attending, society will see $7.1 billion. And when we compare that to the costs, we see that there will be a benefit cost ratio of 11.9. We also have the results broken out by college in the district. I'm not going to necessarily go through each of the numbers. They're there for you to see. But this way you're able to see how the colleges kind of roll up to the total for the district. So that's the heart of the analysis. Now, what we would recommend is that the district, you use these results, you send them to state legislators, you publish the results, you use social media to broadcast them. So really we want to see you all get the most out of the study, and we remain here to support you as best we can. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. Board members, do you have any questions? Trustee Prendergast, and then Trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I think I assume the obvious question is, using fiscal year 2021, if my memory serves me right, something was going on around that time that might have impacted the numbers a little. Is it safe to say that things are better now, or were some of those numbers good because we had extra money flowing from the federal government? I'm just curious what our snapshot might look like in a more quote-unquote normal year.
Mm-hmm. Great question. So some of it depends a little bit. If you saw a decreased enrollment during that year, then that could certainly affect the numbers. We do see a lot of our clients did receive additional COVID relief funds, which that has generally helped out the student benefit cost ratio we've seen, because a lot of that funding went directly to students. So there's going to be some sides on the investment analysis in particular that could be a little bit different. The alumni impact, though, that's one that generally stays relatively stable, because we're not looking at just students served within that 1 year. We're looking at students served over time and are active today.
So I guess then that begs the question, when do we do this again, or how often is this study done?
Well, she'd probably want one every year, but.
I was just talking to Anna about that again. So the 2021 data was the last year where we had the full data from all of the districts. So we may come back and do another economic impact study for the 22-23 fiscal year.
So that would give us an opportunity to do a comparison to see if we've had growth or things of
Yes,
that
and
nature.
we did do one for 2016-17. We can do a comparison for those two fiscal years as well, and I can send that over to Dr. Barnes to share out. But we are looking to come back and do it post-COVID.
Thank you for that. Trustee Milchiker.
Well, I just want to reiterate what you said. That was a good question, Trustee Prendergast. But I want to reiterate what you said, how this is really important for when the students or when the trustees or anyone goes up to Sacramento or goes to Washington, D.C. and talk with the legislators, show them how greatly the economic impact impacts the community, and how it's a great asset to the community, not only educationally, but financially and fiscally as well. So and I'd like to, of course, get it in the newspapers. I know people don't read newspapers that much anymore, but get in social media. And so people in the community realize how important it is to our local community to support our colleges. So thank you. Thanks so much.
You want to say something?
Yes, I did want to add that this is also a great recruitment tool for your students to know what type of return on investment that they can look forward to in the future as well.
Yeah, you are right. As a matter of fact, I attended a meeting where they were talking about the different disciplines and the return on investment to the school and to the students for each particular discipline. And if the students can see that attending a school for 2 years can increase their earnings by 75%, then they would probably stay in school. So that's great. Thank you.
One last thing, one of the other elements we like to add to this economic impact study is each city that is served by the colleges, so we can take a deeper dive into the impact for the cities as well.
That's great. Thank you.
So I think that begs another question then of comparing ourselves to other districts, how do we use that in our press? Obviously, if it's a good thing, assuming that it's good. Like, I mean, because the assumption is you've done this for every district in the area, or even maybe statewide. Like, I know sometimes we like to say, this is how we compare in Orange County, this is how we compare to the state, this is how we compare nationally, just to kind of really, really promote it.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the goals is to do the district comparisons, but I also want to include the college comparisons in there and bring that back. We can do another presentation for you at a later time.
Trustee Rydell.
Yes, my question is, you said 1.2 billion students. Are we talking part-time, full-time?
For the students. So students, we are including part-time and full-time. And so we're looking at all students that were served, and then we're really homing in on what their average credit load was. And so we're looking at how many credits did they take and tying value to those credits.
This is curiosity for me. I'm very curious of what you use to state that we had $1.5 billion added to the county's income. I would just like to know your variables and how you evaluated that. Not tonight, but I'm just curious how you came up with that.
Yeah. So I'm happy to go into high-level detail right now, or I can also follow up with you afterward.
No, afterwards.
Okay.
Not everybody probably wants to know
Okay.
that.
I love to geek out over the data, so I look forward to the conversation.
I'm curious.
So some of us, Trustee Milchker, still do read the newspaper.
Yeah, I
And
do.
there was
I
some
do.
media coverage this morning about Rancho. We hope that coverage could be balanced out with additional reporting of what's happening here in South Orange County. I just had a couple of questions. So I do some work on promoting economic impact studies in my other work that I do. And typically, a lot of times you use an economic impact study to convince decision makers not to do something or to do something, or if you're under threat, to justify your existence and the contributions you make to the local economy. We're in I think, a good place with a lot of the stakeholders and decision makers. So out of the next steps, I mean, where should our focus be on promoting a lot of this data? Is it on prospective students? Because we're not, we don't need to lobby cities to support us. We like to, they're partners and to a certain degree, but not formal partners.
Yeah. I really believe that the entire ecosystem, not only our legislators, but also our partners, our industry partners, should see this data and understand how we perform as a community college and what our value is to their partnership as well. I will say this. South Orange County, and particularly the colleges, have really made a big footprint as it relates to partners in across the different industries, especially automotive industry. You may have heard of the South Orange County Auto Dealership Association. Great footprint into that industry as far as providing talent pipeline for service technicians for the different dealerships in Orange County, and particularly in South Orange County. So this kind of data is good to not only put before our partners, but also to acknowledge the impact that they have in our colleges and with our students as well. But I will say that some Board of Trustees use this information to campaign and to
No,
speak-
we wouldn't do that.
and to speak on behalf of the colleges when you're out. I heard all of the reports, and you are getting out and you're really taking deep dive into the activities. But when you're out in the community, it's good to have a a fact sheet. I won't say a cheat sheet, but a fact sheet. We could put that together, could work with Letitia here and bring something to the cabinet and some type of handout you can use. But I will say this, we have used it as a regional consortium back with the 2016-17 economic impact when we walked the halls of the legislation in Sacramento. We've done it for our ask, and we also provided them with solutions to remedy the act. So it can be in drop sheets for legislators, both statewide and federal legislators.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point on reaching out to our business partners to educate them. And I think it's fortuitous that the two foundations are here in the room tonight. And one data point really stood out to me, and I'm wondering if that can be disaggregated and shared with the foundation, and that is the alumni income.
Absolutely. We have that for each of the colleges too, so we can make sure that you'll have that after this meeting. I don't have it with me in front of me right now, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. No other questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going back to regular order, so to speak. We're on to item 5.1. We are now at board agenda item 521, public hearing for approval of grant and easement agreements with Southern California Edison for the IVC Charge Ready project. Before we have the public hearing, Vice Chancellor Anne Marie Gable will provide an introduction.
So this agenda item allows the public to provide the board with comments and input before the board considers approval of granting 2 easements with Southern California Edison for utility purposes to install and maintain infrastructure at IVC's parking lots 5 and 8 for vehicle charging stations. If you have any questions throughout the public hearing process this evening, both Medhani, Ephraim, and I are here to assist.
Board item 5.1, public hearing on the matter at hand is now open. Comments are not to exceed 5 minutes. Does the board have any questions to staff to assist with their understanding of this item? Well, I have a question. How many charging stations are we talking about?
101.
Excellent. Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Vice Chancellor Gable, does the staff have any responses? I guess we have no public comments. I don't need to go ask that unless there are any public comments. No. Okay. Is there any further discussion on this matter by the Board of Trustees? 5.1 is now concluded. We will now move to item 5.2, the board's approval of Resolution 2401, which approves entering into the grant of easement agreements with Southern California Edison over portions of parking lots 5 and 8 at Irvine Valley College for utility purposes. We will need a motion. Motion from Trustee Rydell.
Second.
Second from Trustee Milchiker. Any more additional questions? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. The motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. We're now on to resolutions, and I think that's going to be a readout from Trustee Inman.
There is one resolution on the agenda this month for approval. The resolution we are approving tonight is item 6.1, recognition of February as Black History Month. Whereas not only during the month of February 2024, but throughout the year, it is important to recognize the contributions of Black African Americans in society and to recognize disparities in student outcomes in order to move towards equity in our education system and the greater community. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the South Orange County Community College District that February 2024 be designated African American Black History Month. May we have a motion and a second?
So move.
Motion from Trustee Milchiker.
We'll now vote.
We need a second.
Second.
Trustee Dack.
Oh, sorry, trustee Dack, second. Let's go ahead and vote. The motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory, student trustee yes vote. All right, 7.1, we need approval for the minutes of the special Board of Trustees meeting from the end of November. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from trustee Prendergast. Second from trustee Rydell. Any questions on the minutes? Let's go ahead and vote on the item. The motion carries on a 5-0 trustee yes vote, 1 abstention, and a student advisory, student trustee yes vote. 7.2, we are back at what we talk about annually and whether we want to nominate someone from this board to the league board of directors.
No.
No.
Having heard that, are there any other trustees wishing to nominate someone or put their names into nomination?
No.
All right. We are not going to be submitting a nomination this year. All right. Well, moving on back to presentations, and I believe I'm going to switch the order here again and have the foundations present 8.3. And I don't know who's going first. IVC.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Oransky, and for the past 8.5 years, I've had the honor of serving as the executive director of the Irvine Valley College Foundation. Tonight, I am joined once again by Mike Drennan, the president of the Board of Governors. As in the past, we will show you the numbers, but really focus on the stories. While the numbers are tangible and easy to process, fundraising is really about the impact we have on our students and their educational journeys. There is a line in our alma mater that states, "Here their hopes awakened, here their dreams took flight." Through the stories we are about to share, we look forward to showing you how the IVC Foundation helps our students' dreams awaken, helps our students' hopes awaken and their dreams take flight. The first few slides are numbers, and they're reported in the audit, which you've already seen, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. There we are, fiscal year, and this is for the fiscal year 22-23. So it's July 1, 22 through June 30 of 23. So this slide shows our financial position. There's a lot of numbers in there. The bottom line is that our net assets increased almost $600,000 over the past year. And here we depict that through a chart that shows that we're, after a pretty rough 21-22, we are back at an all-time high. We've also seen that this number has grown even more since June. And this is the last fast one, I promise. This is a slide that shows our endowment holdings. It includes what is invested and what is available to spend. However, I believe that the true impact is shown on the next slide. So here it is. During the scholarship ceremony last year, I talked about how I often feel like my title should really be Dream Realization Officer. One of the most important parts of my job is to listen to our prospects and contributors. Everyone who makes a contribution has a dream about what they want to achieve, whether it is to enhance a program, provide a scholarship, or provide unrestricted support. I listen and I help them make their dreams come true. One of my favorite types of dreams to work on are when people want to create a legacy that will last in perpetuity. This is when they create an endowment. As a very quick overview, when an endowment is established, the principal is invested and only the annual payout is available to spend. Looking at this graph, you can see how our invested assets, the bulk of our endowment, has increased 80% over the past 5 years. Every dollar added is a dream realized by the contributor, and it provides additional support to ensure that our students' dreams take flight. While our largest, as I also just have to throw in, the market's been doing really well lately, so we took a look tonight at our balance in our endowment account, and we're actually up to $2.361 million. So this is a huge increase. And while our largest single endowment provides programmatic support to our instrumental music program through the Bruce M. Jewett Instrumental Music Account, the place where we really see the biggest impact is on our scholarships. So on this slide, you can see how we help their dreams take flight. When a student enrolls at IVC, they have hopes about what they want to accomplish. They often know there are barriers, including how to pay for their education. When as a student is selected to receive a scholarship, their dreams take flight as that barrier is removed. This past year, we supported their dreams by providing nearly 500 scholarships. I also have to add in that while the slide you see shows a 5-year history, we took a minute as we were preparing, well, Karen probably took more than a minute, but we took a minute as we were preparing the report and did a 10-year look back. In 2012, 2013, we awarded just under $300,000 in scholarship. This year, we supported our students' dreams and hopes by awarding nearly $650,000 in scholarships, which represents a 120% increase. To tie it back to the last slide, a significant amount of this increase came from endowed scholarships. Now, believe it or not, in my opinion, here's the best view of the overall impact that the foundation has on our students and their dreams. When I started working for the district almost 11 years ago, which still kind of surprises me, it was clear that everyone knew that the foundations played a pivotal role in the scholarship process. But few people knew what else we did. What other dreams did we help students realize? What you are seeing is an abbreviated version of our schedule of commensurate return. The detailed version clearly illustrates how foundation funds support the dreams of our athletes, musicians, Model UN participants, psychology students, and so many more. So now that I've covered the numbers and the big overview, Mike is going to take over and really share some stories.
Good evening. As Alyssa stated, our endowment has been doing very well. Some of the growth is due to market changes, and some is due to additional gifts to the existing endowments. And last, but certainly not least, to the endowments of establishment of new endowments. This also means that the growth and impact on our students and dreams are being realized. So for example, the Mao Endowment for Engineering Education was established by Jerry and Sybil Mao. A number of years ago, a friend who lives with them had a dream to earn her bachelor's degree. Her first class at IVC was a math class with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. They were so impressed with his teaching that they established a scholarship in the name of Dr. Sanjay Gupta. This scholarship supports the dream of our students and also created a dream for Dr. Gupta to endow the scholarship. She then took a class with Professor Matt Wolkin in engineering. She transferred to a prestigious 4-year institution, but returned to take more classes from Professor Wolkin as she felt she learned more from them than at her 4-year university. To show their appreciation for their friend's experience, the Maos are establishing the Mao Endowment for Engineering Education. So, last year, we reported on our first retiree reunion, and we held the second one this year, which we increased the number significantly. While they are no longer employees of the district, they are still dreaming. To ensure that their work continues by creating endowments. For example, Kay Mock was one of the IVC's original accounting professors. Kay, along with his wife Jane, included IVC in their estate plans. When their bequest was realized, the funds were used to create the Kay and Jane Mock Retiree Endowed Scholarship. This payout for this endowment will be awarded as scholarships to students in honor of employees who've retired in the past 12 months. Seeing this, retirees Bill Hewitt and Beep Koklow created an endowment that will award scholarship in memory of employees and retirees who have passed away in the last 12 months. The love of our employees was also shown when the beloved colleague, Dawn Pickering, passed away last year. Her colleagues, family, and friends contributed more than $15,000 last year to create an endowed scholarship in her memory. These past employee dreams of impacting students will continue in perpetuity. So this year we had a number of great highlights. The biggest was which we raised a record $1.2 million, which is a 36% increase over last year. So how did we get there? So last March, we held our annual gala celebrating excellence. Despite the torrential downpour, and if you recall, a slight banking crisis where some of the banks went under that day, and that morning, we raised a record $187,000. So please save the date for March 8th, 2024, this year celebrating excellence at the Marconi Auto Museum. While I'm not going to share all our honorees, I do want to mention that our community partner of excellence is our past president of the IVC Foundation, Lisa Kennedy Greenberg. Talk about making dreams come true. Lisa has impacted more than we'll ever know. I hope that you will join us to celebrate all that she did to support IVC and the foundation. As noted on an earlier slide, this past year we set a new record in scholarships and awarded to our students. And yes, that means a new record in awakening the hopes and dreams. We expect that the number to go up again next year as we announced we awarded $527,800 in scholarships in May, and that included over 680 different scholarships. So during the time that I've served as president of the foundation, I've been very impressed with the creativity of our IVC Foundation team. Alyssa and her team are always looking for new ways to make our students' dreams come true. So this year, they created GEMS, which stands for Gives Every Month. Alyssa is proudly wearing a pin that they distributed to everyone who contributes in their monthly, either via payroll or deduction or credit card. These individuals are noted in the honor roll this year's calendar. They also held a small reception on the campus, which is going to become an annual event. The reason that we honored these individuals is because they are the most consistent dream impactors, as they will provide ongoing support throughout the year. So this is one of my all-time favorites to report on, a Giving Day. We just started Giving Day in 2020, as we were home and figured, why not try something new? As you can see from the amount raised and the number of gifts received has gone up each year. Part of the 2022 jump was due to having an on-campus presence. Conveniently, Giving Day coincides with the Great Shakeout. So we did have a booth set up outside student services, and a lot of people stopped by as they were outside anyway. So kind of catch them. As you see, this year's Giving Day was a new record and set by a lot. It's approximately 10% of our total funds raised annually. These gifts secured are instrumental in awakening hopes and seeking dreams take flight. Please scan the QR code to watch a video about Giving Day and learn more about its impact. One of our favorite parts of Giving Day are the photos that we take. They show the impact the foundation and who we engaged while we were on campus. Last but not least is a slide of our board members. The people you see in the screen are constantly and consistently working behind the scenes to ensure that fulfill our minute message, which is the IVC Foundation believes is contributing a meaningful experience that enhances teaching and learning at IVC. Every day we cultivate the resources because we strive to provide access to an exceptional education and a caring campus community. Thank you for your time and support and your ongoing advocacy. I also want to thank Chancellor Barnes and President Hernandez and Trustee Jay for their help and support throughout this past year. We know that we would not have enjoyed this success without you. Finally, I want to thank the IVC Foundation office team, Alyssa, Karen Orlando, Karen Jimenez, and Janice Visco for all that you do. You're an amazing group who truly function as a team. Working with you has been enjoyable, rewarding, and engaging experience. So before I turn the floor over to Elizabeth McCann, I want to mention that you heard tonight is really only a snapshot of what the foundation does and the impact it has on our students. We did not mention the emergency fund, sending students to conferences, buying equipment, or building a presence on the community. One hope that I have is that in the future, the board is able to spend more of the allotted time in this presentation telling the stories and not so focused on the numbers, because you'll walk away remembering the stories, not necessarily the numbers. So the reason we can better show you how they line up with their alma mater, here the hopes awaken, here the dreams took flight, is happening, and that's what people are going to remember. Thank you for your time and the investment you made in the students and programs at IVC. My pleasure to turn the floor to Elizabeth McCann, who will report on Saddleback College.
Hold on, before you do that, I just think it'd be easier. Thank you for your presentation, both of you. Just want to give board members a chance to ask the IVC Foundation any questions while it's fresh.
No, I just want to congratulate you on doing a great job, wonderful job, so thank you.
Yes, thank you, and thank you to the board members for the contributions, time, but treasure. I mean, that's what we need. Did I hear you say that Lisa's going to be honored in the spring?
Yeah.
Excellent choice. Lisa Kennedy Greenberg is one of the people that will go down as one of the great contributors to this district. She's just been an amazing supporter of the IVC Foundation. She also served on your search committee for the chancellor as a community member, and has just can't wait to see her being honored that night.
Well-deserved.
Yes.
Well-deserved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we have Liz McCann from the Saddleback College Foundation.
Good evening and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity that you give us to present our accomplishments. I am Liz McCann. I'm Executive Director of the Saddleback College Foundation, and I have had the great privilege of serving at Saddleback College for almost 5 years now. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So similar to Alyssa, I'm going to try to breeze through these financials for you, because I know you have pored over our our audited financial statements. So this first slide shows our financial position. And you'll see that total support and revenue for Saddleback College Foundation in fiscal year 22-23 was nearly $3.3 million, and our expenses were just under $2.3 million, and we saw an increase in net assets of over $1 million in fiscal year 2022-2023. Our net assets are now just shy of $12.7 million, although as Alyssa noted, we're having a good year so far, so we'll be excited to report even higher numbers next time around. For our Saddleback endowments, we have a few lines here. The first that I'll highlight is the yellow line, and that represents Saddleback College's own managed endowment funds, and that is just shy of $7.3 million. The orange line represents our Osher endowments, and those are actually managed by the Foundation for California Community Colleges. Saddleback College Foundation actually secured the funding. We handed it over to them for management in order to receive the Osher match, and then also the better exposure to different investments. And that's just shy of $1 million. And so our total is $8.2 million. Like Alyssa shared, scholarships are such an important part of what we do. This chart shows 5 years of history of Saddleback College Foundation scholarships. These numbers are affected for us and for our sister foundation by our endowment payout.
and the endowment payouts are based on a 3-year average. So thankfully, our investments are up a bit over the prior fiscal year. In fact, our December investment statements show over $9.1 million in just our Saddleback managed investment funds alone. So we're having a really good year. This payout is also impacted by the foundation's adoption of more responsible disbursement practices in keeping with our investment manager's recommendations to further protect the longevity of our endowment. And like IVC Foundation, in fiscal year 21-22, we took over management of agency scholarships to Saddleback College students. So you'll see those little red pieces there on the bar. And so the total funds dispersed to Saddleback students out of the Saddleback College Foundation is just under $600,000. The next slide shows foundation scholarships coupled with emergency grants. And I've presented this slide for the past few years, so I wanted to kind of bring it back and kind of remind you what's happening here. So I have served as Saddleback College's director of the student portion of the HERE funds that we received for direct support to students during the pandemic. And as such, Saddleback College Foundation built the infrastructure for providing emergency grant support to Saddleback College's students, and we continue to manage this process. So in addition to our own scholarships and the agency scholarships, Saddleback College Foundation dispersed over $1.5 million to students to support their basic needs. And these grants were made up of a variety of funds that include foundation funds, as well as funding from grants, SEEP funds, and other one-time funding. And you can see the significant drop from 21-22 to 22-23, marking the spend down of those HERE funds. So in total, between scholarships, emergency grants, agency scholars, our impact was $2.1 million in direct financial support to Saddleback students, many of whom may not have persisted without this support. And as you are aware, these one-time funds are very close to being exhausted, but our student need remains high, largely due to the cost of living in our region. My team and I meet daily. Going back to stories, we meet daily with students who are in need of support for their most basic needs, food, and most especially housing. And so I know you're all thinking, what do we do? What do we do after these funds go away and that need remains? And that's on our minds as well. So our Saddleback College Foundation's benefit to the district and college for the past fiscal year was just close to 2.6 million. And I know Alyssa delved beautifully into what this slide represents in terms of the resources that we put into delivering these services to our students, our programs, and the facilities at Saddleback College. All right, now on to the fun part. I get to focus on Saddleback College Foundation's many achievements. And I'm going to start with the most recent in our minds, and that is our gala. Thank you so much to those of you who supported, who attended, who supported and attended. We are so grateful to you. Our 2023 gala marked another record-breaking Saddleback College Foundation gala, the best to date. And I love being able to come back and say that every time. We really, truly delve deeper into our partnership with our wonderful colleagues in AMPT, our School of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design. And we highlighted our dance and musical theater programs this year. This partnership really spotlights the talent of our students, our faculty, and even our alumni who are involved. And it provides a very special, unique, and mission-driven experience for our guests. So I'm just going to highlight some key achievements from that night. So we saw a 35% increase in table sponsorship income. And the real celebration point here is that we doubled our title sponsorship from 25,000 to 50,000. And we also brought in a record number of table sponsors. We also saw a 42% increase in our ticket sales, and this increase was not just from the slight increase in the ticket price, which is really essential as it's a fundraising event, but we also sold more tickets than we have in previous years. And you can see we have significant increases across each category of the event, and overall we raised, I'm sorry, there's some animation here that I meant to take out. We raised over $108,000 more in this gala than we did in our 2022 gala, which was also a record year. In total, we raised $372,545. And I'm so proud of my team, and I'm so grateful to our amped colleagues and, of course, to our generous supporters. We are already planning our next event, so please save the date. It is Friday, October 25th, and we will be returning to the Ritz-Carlton. And I hope you're all there to support our students. While we love the gala, I would say our most special event is celebrating our student scholarship recipients and the amazingly generous donors who make those scholarships possible at our annual scholarship reception. So just a few highlight photos from that. You'll see some of our wonderful trustee friends there. And so again, I know I've kind of reiterated this, but Saddleback College Foundation boasted a student support impact in 2022-23 of $2.1 million, which was made up of scholarships, agency scholarships, emergency grants, and then we also have awards that go to, monetary awards that go to students as well. So on that special day, we also secured 10 new scholarships that we were able to celebrate in 22-23, and you can see them listed here. You'll see a lot of familiar names. We do have some wonderful retired faculty, staff, and administrators who have stepped up and created endowments to support our students. Our work with scholarships never ends. We're always trying to secure more scholarships to support our students. In fact, we every time we present this report, we always have new scholarships that are coming in. And I just want to highlight one special endowment you're going to see very proudly displayed on next year's this slide next year, and that is a recently created endowed scholarship from our trustee, Terry Whit-Rydell. Thank you very much. We're so grateful. She's created an endowed scholarship to support our wonderful nursing scholars. And then also for some gifts of note. So these are some of the significant gifts that we received in 22-23. An estate gift that of $250,000 that will underwrite the cost of our cinema students who are creating student films, which can be very costly. Our athletics program raised $118,000 in support of their athletic programs. The Mockberry family provided over $100,000 in support for our gala. A gift of $100,000 from the Sue J. Gross Foundation for scholarships for nursing students. An unrestricted gift from Table for 10 that provides scholarships for our culinary arts students as well. The California Community Foundation, which consistently provides scholarships for nursing students. An unrestricted gift from RX3 Growth Partners, our charitable partner in a celebrity flag football event. And a generous scholarship contribution from Dr. Morgan Barrows and Anthony Pichardo, which also includes a double match from Lenovo. We love those matching gifts. A gift from a community member who answered our call to support students who are basic needs insecure through our emergency fund, and that's Dustin Mackey's $25,000 gift. And a gift from Kathy Hodge to create the Kathy and Vern Hodge Endowed Scholarship. I want to thank my incredible team who truly embody a caring campus: Paula Barrow, Emily Kramer, Andrew Hom, and Dana Taylor. They are truly the best. I hope they're tuning in. I also want to thank the Foundation's fantastic, dedicated board of directors. And most important, I have to thank the world's best boss and college president, Dr. Elliot Stern. He's a dream partner for the Foundation, and we couldn't be luckier to have a better champion and leader. Thank you. And of course, it starts and ends with all of you, our trustees, and our district's wonderful leaders and colleagues. We could not do this work without each of you. Thank you. And I know I speak for the IVC Foundation when I say thank you.
Thank you, Liz, for that presentation. Lots of good stuff happening. Any questions for Liz?
I just want to congratulate you too. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Any questions for the foundation? I went to the event, the Ritz event, hopefully again next year. The holiday party was really nice. The greenhouse was fantastic. I don't know if you're planning on doing something like that again, but I really enjoyed it. And then thank you to your team and your teams as well at Irvine Valley College, for all of you. And again, your board and the volunteers that work so hard to raise money and support both colleges. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have our last, I don't know if this is a presentation or just a report out on 8.2. No? Oh, it's just an action item. Okay. All right, so we need a motion on the assessment of good standing for the ATEP Facilities Corporation, IVC Foundation, Saddleback Foundation, and the District Foundation. A motion from Trustee Inman. Second from Trustee Rydell. Any questions? Okay, let's vote. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Good job. All right, we're on to the consent calendar, and I'm going to pull 9.5 to be voted on separately, and I guess we'll do that after. Are there any other polls from board members? Seeing none, can we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved. Balance of the consent calendar.
Balance. Motion, Trustee Prendergast. Second from Trustee Milchiker. Any questions? No? Let's go ahead and vote. The balance of the consent calendar items are approved on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Okay, on to 9.5. You want me to read this out? I can. You want me to? Okay. Reason we pulled 9.5 is we were notified today that Rancho Santiago Community College District, acting on behalf of the OCRC, has eliminated Saddleback College's allocation for the regional marketing leads line item. Therefore, we're going to reduce the award amount, the amount awarded to Saddleback by $1.325 million, whereby the new total allocation for Saddleback is now going to be $1,562,685. So that is the amended item. So is there a motion to approve? Motion from Trustee Milchiker.
In a second.
In a second, you have a question?
Well, yeah, why did they pull the?
So this is very much voluntary. We have served as the fiscal agent for distribution of funds for regional marketing efforts, in addition to the allocations that the schools get. A committee decides where the allocation goes, so there's no benefit to us. We have been doing all the work with no perceived benefit. So we are allowing a rotation among the various colleges to our partners at Rancho.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, and they get all the press today, too.
Separate issue.
I know. All right. I think we have a motion in a second, so let's Let's vote. So item 9.5 is approved on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. We're now on to business services, 10.1, B300 swing space at IVC, award of a bid to Sanders Construction Services. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion from trustee Milchiker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Prendergast. Any questions? Okay, let's vote on the item. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee abstention. 11.2, classified personnel actions. Any changes to the item?
No changes.
No changes to the item. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion and one comment.
Motion from trustee Milchiker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Dack. Trustee Milchiker.
Just mention that Vic Jensen, Human Resource Specialist, is retiring after 23.5 years of service, and thank him for his service to the district. Thanks.
Thank you for that recognition. Any other comments? All right, let's go ahead and vote on the item. The motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and an abstention from student trustee. 11.3, bonded sabbatical recommendations. Do we have a motion for approval?
So move.
Motion from trustee Milchiker. Looking to my left, is there a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Rydell. Any questions on the sabbatical recommendations?
Well, they look good.
No? All right, let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee abstention. We don't have any educational or technology services items on the agenda tonight. We'll now go to the information items. 13.1, staff response to public comments from the previous board meeting. Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College speakers, monthly financial status report, and CSEA, Chapter 586, initial proposal to the district. We now move on to reports from our administration and other governance groups, and kick it off will be Chancellor Barnes.
Well, welcome to the spring 2024, and the year 2024. Isn't this exciting? What a great way to kick it off at a board meeting. So I could already tell it's going to be a great semester with everything that's going on. We've heard this wonderful economic impact study, which again is about lives and what we're doing to contribute to our society, to our students, to our taxpayers. As was mentioned, I shared earlier with the board some data with regard to enrollment being up again in the double digits. And I think it was said, I think, by a couple of other people as well. I mean, it really does take a village. It takes the whole system. So obviously, our faculty in the classroom, but also our classified professionals, our administration, our board. It really does indeed take the entire village to open the door to our students, and then once here to be sure that we are providing the support that our students need so that they can make it across the stage on graduation day. And again, without that, then we don't have the economic impact, right, that we talked about earlier. So it's this whole cycle of life. Also, I know it was said over and over again, but it was fantastic to hear Dr. Gina Garcia at both of the opening sessions. She's just a wonderful ball of energy, but also just really, I think for all of us who have been doing the equity work for a long time, she just had a really great way of framing the work that's before us in terms of taking institutional responsibility for student success and learning. And again, congratulations to both presidents, but I also want to thank Margot Levitt for your wonderful personal story that you shared, which I thought was very impactful. And I think it was said by the foundation, we remember stories. So I appreciated the way that you shared, how you felt being in a different culture and environment and how it feels to be, the other, the different one, but then eventually accept it. So I appreciate that. So thank you. So there's a lot in store. Obviously, I've been working with the presidents on what are all the activities and such that I can participate in this semester. So there's a whole a variety of them.
But in addition, again, we talked about the economic impact study and how we're going to use this data. And one of the things that we know up in Sacramento is there's a lot of new representatives who don't know much about community colleges. So I have a lot of data to share with regard to both of the colleges and our district, so that we can be sure that we are getting the support that we need for community colleges. So starting this upcoming weekend, I know I have the opportunity to be in Sacramento at the legislative conference, and I will be meeting with a variety of representatives to really push our legislative priorities, including workforce development, housing, all the things that you know about. But one that I do want to make mention of is that on the table is some new legislation to support the Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing. And so there's some sentiment that it might go this time, so we shall see. So anyway, that's my report, and thank you all for your good work that you do each and every day, and I look forward to the spring.
Thank you, Chancellor. Saddleback College President Elliott Stern.
Thank you very much, President Jamal. So a couple things. One, I want to thank the board for their support of sabbaticals. I have made mention of this perennially, but we have an astounding faculty-driven process. Tony Huntley, up until this year, chairing that committee with Vice Chancellor Viscachill, and really scrutinizing and vetting the proposals. What you don't see is that you're actually getting for approval this year about half of the proposals from Saddleback that passed over my desk. And that's the work of the committee that's doing that. And I really appreciate that they care as much about proving the value to our students and the ROI on the investments we make in sabbaticals as much as the rest of us. So very grateful to the work of that committee, and congratulations to the faculty who were awarded sabbaticals for next year. Our move into Gateway is happening as we speak. We did a little pilot move of a few units last week, or the week before, actually, the end of the week. The end of this week, we will move the bulk of the remaining services that go into Gateway. Please put a hold on your calendar if you have not seen Grace's message up until now for February 28th, our planned groundbreaking at that facility. We're very excited about that, and I want to give a shout out to the mayor of Saddleback, Noir El-Jabouri, who has made a very complicated and obstinate and expensive vision happen. And we are really grateful for the work he does every day to manage that project. And finally, with respect to comments by Student Trustee Hitty regarding ZTC, I am proud to share that this semester we are, thanks to the hard work of librarians, staff, college leaders, and most of all, faculty who do the work, we are at 57% of enrollments ZTC. So I am laying down the gauntlet tonight and setting a challenge of us being a 2/3 ZTC college in the next 1 to 2 years. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that. That's a good goal that I think all of us support. IVC President John Hernandez.
Thank you, Board President Jamal. I'd like to ride the enrollment wave also. Thank you for acknowledging that. And I, along with I'm sure quite a few of my colleagues, look at those metrics every single day. And I have a little spreadsheet to compare our numbers to spring 2020, which really serves as our pre-pandemic benchmark. And not only are our district-wide and IVC numbers extremely strong, but I'm really excited and optimistic. Our FTS, when compared to spring 2020, is plus 2% from where we were, and just shy 1% for headcount from spring 2020. So I know there are multiple factors that are contributing to our district-wide and each of the colleges' growth. I don't believe our local community colleges are growing at that rate. And so I just think it's important to celebrate that, because that doesn't just happen by mere chance. So I know that our categorical programs are growing. DSPS is experiencing a 22% growth, EOPS 30%. Our international student program has 115 new students this semester, which is a 40% growth. Our adult ESL has 92 sections, all full, with over 2,000 unduplicated students and over 3,500 duplicated headcount. So these are all just contributing, and so kudos to all of you, because it is a collective effort. I want to also congratulate the women's volleyball team for earning an Orange Empire Conference championship and an opportunity to compete in the California Community College Athletic Association State Championship this past December. The Lasers made it to the semifinal round and concluded a very strong season, as well as just to our student athletes in general. This fall, we broke some records in terms of academic success. They track various metrics. I don't have time. In fact, I'm out of time. But I think it speaks to the dedication, support, and guidance of our coaching staff and our athletic personnel. And really, it's a continuous commitment to academic excellence. And it really should be no surprise that our student athletes are some of our top academic performers. And again, congratulations to those student athletes. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Vice Chancellor of Educational and Technology Services, Chris McDonald.
Given that John used my time, I have no report at this time.
He did.
You should have gifted me your 2 minutes.
He did use your time. All right. Vice Chancellor of Human Resources.
No report.
No report. Vice Chancellor of Business Services.
Right, just quickly to remind folks that the budget memo that I sent out to the campus community is in the board packet for your guys' review based upon the January governor's budget. I think overall, community colleges and K-12 districts are extremely fortunate that we didn't see any cuts. You probably heard all over the news that the governor was addressing a $38 billion shortfall. And he definitely showed his commitment and dedication to the K-14 system by not giving us cuts. UCs and CSUs both received deferrals, so I think we're very fortunate that we didn't see any cutbacks there. COLA is minor at 0.76%. And then there was growth of about 0.5%. So even though we didn't get cuts, we also didn't get an influx of large amounts of money. But we did, there is $60 million proposed for the nursing program that Dr. Barnes mentioned earlier. So we just look forward to the May revise and then the final budget in June.
Okay, so what's your prediction on the May revise? It's not going to be 38 billion.
No, I don't think, I don't think it'll be 38 billion. I also don't think there will be, I don't think we'll see any cuts to the K-14. They seem, both the governor and the legislature, I served on a panel last week for the state with the Department of Finance and with a Senate representative, and both of them are pretty dedicated to not cutting K-14 system, so I don't expect anything. COLA will probably change slightly. I don't know where it will go, but we should have a relatively good year this year. I think the out years are the ones that we need to be concerned about.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, so with that, tonight we close the meeting in remembrance of Fariba Vatandost, Saddleback College's longest-serving part-time instructor in the chemistry department. Fariba passed away on December 27th after her brave battle with cancer. Fariba worked at Saddleback for 17 years and was honored as the part-time professor of the year in 2014. She was known as a loving and hardworking single mother, raising her daughter by teaching high school chemistry during the day and for Saddleback College at night. Her colleagues described her as a kind and gentle soul. She will be sorely missed. Our deepest sympathy to Fariba's family, friends, and colleagues. Take care, everyone, and good night.